Hello, and welcome to another episode of Break the Cycle with me, your host, Joshua Smith. I hope everyone's having a wonderful Saturday night. Special stream. We're back, baby. It's been a long time. I think my last real stream that wasn't a test stream like last night was in July. Obviously, there's been a ton of shit that's gone on since then. I dropped a new campaign. I'm running for U.S. Senate against Joni Ernst in the Republican primary here in Iowa. Donald Trump's been elected. Ross Ulbricht's been freed. Doge has been created. We're cutting government bureaucracy. It's beautiful. We love it. What we want to see. And we're back. Break the Cycle is back. I know you're all excited. We did the test stream last night. A lot of you guys popped in, and everybody seemed pretty stoked. So I'm excited. I'm excited to be back. Ryan and AJ will not be here yet tonight. Probably the next stream, I'd imagine. We're going to be set up for them. We have not built their spots in the studio yet. We are in a brand new studio, brand new house. I took my family and moved to the middle of fucking nowhere to get away from, bullshit. Or I'm racist. That's what a lot of people say. You want to live on a farm? It's because you're racist. I don't know. I just like to let my kids run around outside without shoes on, and I don't got to worry about, all the riffraff in the city. So, great show for you guys tonight. Before we get too into it, for old time's sake, go check out toplobster.com. The man, the myth, the legend, my good friend and partner on Break the Cycle. Not really anymore. Obviously, he's got his own thing going on. He's the Nephilim Death Squad, and Top Lobster has grown out of control. And he is one of the reasons why this show was able to exist for as long as it did. So while he is no longer really, truly a sponsor of the show, you should go check out toplobster.com. Good friend of mine, always will be. Love him like a brother. That being said, new show, new year, new me. We do have sponsorship opportunities open, and we are going to be running this show consistently again, probably at least twice a week. If we can bump it up to 5 days a week like we used to do it back in the day, that will happen. We definitely need some sponsors, so let me know if you guys are interested. We're going to start doing after-hour shows again. These after-hour shows will be interactive, so if you want to pop in and debate me, debate Ryan, debate the guest, ask questions, all that good stuff, you'll have to be a member of the show on one of the platforms, whether it's Patreon or Subscribestar, and you can get to both of those with the / Break the Cycle, or you become a member of the YouTube channel. I always drop the after hours link to the community members, the people who pay for the YouTube channel, on the feed there, so you guys can get into those shows there too. It's going to be really cool. We're going to do some new cool stuff. Patreon and Subscribestar members, we're going to bring up some new perks for you guys as well. So if you want to help financially get this show going again, let me know, and we'll get you hooked up. We got great guests for you guys today. I'm very excited. A lot of you guys have seen some guests we've had NBA Finals champions on this show. We've had great actors. We're lining up some really great people to come on, like Rob Schneider and some other great people. But tonight, I'm bringing on somebody who's very near and dear to my heart, somebody that I've known for the better part of 30 years, since we were 13 to 14-year-old fat kids walking down the street, drinking backpack beers, singing Blink-182 songs. The man has been the lead singer of every great band you've never heard of, Mr. Vinny Marshall, sir. How are you doing tonight? Yeah, it's true. True, dude. Like every, yeah. It was a walking keg, and we have a great story about that we can get into sometime. But we were having some fun on the street and trying to get this man a place to sleep one night, and fucked that up pretty good for us. Oh, hold on. I fucked that up. They were hearing me, but not you. Now they'll hear you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. I this crystal clear over here, so I know it's not me. We're good on this side. Okay. No, so you got me. That was you at your worst, buddy. I don't know. Can you hear me now? Is it working?
You're good now. I just had you muted.
Okay. Okay. Hi, chat. Let's talk. Let's talk about something that happened. We're out. We're hanging out. We're walking keg, right? We talked about it. We're young. You do stuff. We go at. I had nowhere to stay that night, right? We were out. We were hanging out.
To be fair, I don't think I also had anywhere to stay that night. So
well, we learned that later. Okay. Hanging out with Josh. Hey, man. I think I like passed up a ride. We hang out. I have somewhere that I can stay. And I was assured that I did. And it was decided that you're like, hey, you can stay at my place. My mom goes to work or whatever. If you're listening.
Oh, this is a different night. This is a different night.
This was a night. And
was
then
it the same night in front of my grandparents' house where you started puking in the street?
No, we don't. Hey, listen, we don't talk about Bruno. That's different. No, I'm talking about the one where I was supposed to go. You're like, my mom's gonna leave. You can come in and like sleep on the couch. I was like, all right. And then you were like, I'm gonna go in and I need to eat or I'm gonna like die. And you went inside, and then I just sat out there for like 2 hours, and I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, I fell asleep.
You fell asleep.
Yeah,
you fell asleep.
That was a tough one.
That was a tough one.
Yeah, no, I remember that. I remember that very vividly. I woke up later on in the afternoon, I believe, and I was like, "Oh, great. I fucked over. I buddy fucked him, my best friend.
I slept in a park, man.
We've been through some shit. You guys don't. You don't know. I know. You know. We're both like the fact that we're both like relatively adjusted grown men with like children and families and shit now still blows my mind to this day.
Yeah.
Truly. And my brother too, Chris, who needs to come on the show at some point because that would be fucking.
I don't
hilarious.
know if the internet is ready for that.
I post sometimes on Twitter. Do you remember Text with Bennett? Do you remember the website Text with Bennett? So
yes.
Sometimes on my Twitter I post texts with Chris that are just as funny as texts with Bennett. Like it's exactly the same thing. It's so
yeah.
funny.
I wish I remembered some of his he would truly legendary one-liners.
Truly legend, like more than legendary. Let's see what the multi.
You can never say it without like the bro. You have to go in the voice immediately.
It's gotta be count. bro. You don't even know,
bro.
Yeah, he's like successful. Owns I think 2 houses now.
Good.
Big time hospital worker. That's as
big
far
time
as
hospital worker. Yeah. Is he known in the field?
He's no. So he was the. He used to work for Kaiser. I don't think he works at Kaiser anymore. But he was the shop steward for the union there, and he gave me the call and said, "Bro, you don't even fucking know, bro. I'm like Jimmy Hoffa in this bitch." And I was like, he's like, these people won't even look at me sideways. And
never change, Chris.
And I'm like, you know, that makes a lot of sense. Because you're like working around like nurses and hospital board staff and shit, and you're just like tattooed from your chin down and obviously stoned. And just like walking down the hallway like rapping, right?
Well, if he's not obviously stoned, one has to wonder why he smells like it, right?
Yes,
because there's
exactly.
Yeah.
My mom is in the chat. Hey, Ma.
Is she?
Yeah.
Let's hope she came after that story.
No, she was like, this is all news to me. That's what she said. Although I don't think it is. I think I've told my mom most of these stories at some point. I don't hide the shit from my mom anymore. She knows. That wasn't
that bad.
No.
I mean, listen, nothing of what I described is worse than me using her front lawn as a driveway.
Oh, yeah. Those were the good old days, dude. Those were the good old days. Man, I miss those days.
I think my justification was it's dead anyway.
Yeah, it was.
And your neighbors do it. So
yeah, it was very dead. And then we had you were there when we had the keg in the bathtub in high school at that house, at my mom's house. And my mom was out of town. We had like a huge raging party there. And my mom was in like DC with my sister for some medical symposium or something, because you know my sister's all intelligent and I'm fucking dumb as rocks. And we threw this big kegger party there, and we cleaned up everything. But my mom came home.
Was that the night that I met Esteban? Was that? I feel like I don't know.
No, I think that was a later in life. I think that was after I was out of the military. This was before I went to the military. In high school, I worked at Little Manuals, and my mom came home
as one does
in Antioch. Works at Little Manuals with blue hair and eyebrow rings, and my mom, it was pretty clean. But then my mom went and checked the garbage can, and half of her dishes had been thrown away because someone said, "Yeah, I'll do the dishes."
Toddlers at the party?
No, someone said, "I'll do the dishes," and then just threw all our dishes away. And so my mom knew that we had a fat party, but she never got mad at me. She says you're lucky. I love you. So what do you got? What do you got going on, buddy? What are you up to these days?
Pretty good. Nothing. Look, man. I stopped podcasting because, well, I mean, for a lot of reasons, but like I ended up only wanting to talk about shit that no one else wants to talk about. Like I got so exhausted with like having to go and find
content,
some political bullshit that everyone's already talked to death. Right? Like, I mean, and here we're going to do that. By the way, I have a surprise for you. Before we get going, you have to remind me to show you the surprise. But like, I got tired of it. I did a couple podcast episodes, like diving into some other stuff, and it took a lot of time. And I don't know how interested people are getting into like philosophy and all these other.
Yeah, I stopped doing the philosophy thing. I'm too stupid for philosophy anyway. So I got I started bringing on guests first of all that are way smarter than me, so that I could learn, because that's the important thing, right? That's what Joe Rogan does. He's not particularly the most intelligent person on his podcast ever. You know what I mean? But he brings on people that are interesting and talks to them and listens to them and lets them say their piece. And I got to a point where I like
talk the crazy Graham Hancock shit, by the way.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, when you get into the crazy shit, it's great, right? Like, and Graham, fuck, that's a great listen too. But I got to a point where also I talk about politics, but I want to do like culture, and I want to do like comedy, and I wanted to do musicians, and I've had people like I said, I've had Mark Pellegrino from who was on Lost and what's that other shit? He played Satan in that show Supernatural that my mom loves.
Okay.
So I started getting some cool
didn't
guests.
Didn't you have Brandy Love?
Yes, I had Brandy Love, very famous MILF porn star. Well, she's like a hardcore MAGA Republican.
Okay.
And so it was funny because I think it was right after I had her on the show. And obviously I'm not like pro porn or anything, so I know that a lot of people got mad at me in like the conservative movement or whatever. But she right after she came on, she showed up to like a Turning Point USA event, and they kicked her out. I was like, okay, so
right, because of
because of the the
degeneracy,
the open butt sex on camera or whatever, and so I just thought it was funny because she's this like 1 million+ follower like social media accounts, but she's famous because she does like MILF porn or whatever, and then she shows up and she's like, yeah, let's go MAGA, boo, and then they're like, get out. Get the fuck out. And I just thought that was pretty funny, and it's kind of happening a little bit to Vivek too. And so like I obviously.
Okay, wait.
Oh, you go ahead. You do your thing, bro.
No, I just want to, let's read what exactly is happening to Vivek, right? You're kind of, because there was two ships passing in the night. Vivek is not a porn star.
No. No. So
what do you?
Sorry, I'm eating Arby's, by the way. My dinner came right when the show started.
Why do you always eat during okay, so just right. Hi, chat.
I don't typically eat during my own podcast, but I'm doing it tonight to fuck with you because
is it a me thing?
Look, every time we used to, so for you guys that don't know, Vinny and me used to be part of this publication called Think Liberty that was really pretty popular.
We did all right.
The first podcasts I've ever done were with Vinny and the people at Think Liberty, and so we would hop on and do an audio podcast. And they just always wanted to record like right at dinner time. So I would hop on and say my piece with like meatballs in my mouth and shit all the time.
You're like in Brad Pitt movie, he was always eating.
Yeah, it was just like they were like, you're always fucking eating on the stream. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm hungry. It's dinner time. I don't know what you want from me. So tonight I'm eating. No, we did have some internet issues, and we had a ton of shit today. Basketball games. If you guys know, we have 7 kids in the house, and all of them wrestle or play basketball or do gymnastics, and it's like we have one free night, I think, a week that doesn't have sports. So just kind of how it goes, man. I got to eat when I can. It's really kind of been the problem with getting the show out too, and like building the studios. We've been super busy, especially through wrestling season, and that's been we're at the end of wrestling season now. We got one kid going to state. I got my 13-year-old tomorrow morning is going to wrestle at districts to try to get into state. And so it's kind of the end now, but it's been, our 7-year-old that's going to state, she's been wrestling 2 tournaments a week plus 3 practices a week. So that's just one kid. It's been
good for them. No, I got my son's in swim, and I like swim is like aquatic wrestling. I mean, in terms of the schedule, right?
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like,
you do it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the events are just all day, so you can watch your kid do 3 events for like 10 minutes each, and it's crazy inefficient, but we do it.
So, anyways, Vivek kind of got the cold shoulder when he was talking about immigrants and H-1B visas and all that stuff, and kind of got at odds.
He called Americans stupid. He was like, "You got to be more like Screech." And be less.
Yes, dude, it was really fun.
Which is really hilarious because Trump essentially like threw him in a locker without actually doing.
Yeah,
he was like, nerds are cool, and he was like, "No, you're nerds. Shut up." Yeah.
The best part. So I haven't got to talk about any of this. Like, so we had our national convention. I ran for. You guys know that I ran for president on the Libertarian ticket. I did not get the nomination at our national convention. I didn't do the delegate organizing that I needed to do to get the nomination. I did really great outside of the convention. Like, we did really well on social media. We did really well when we traveled, but when we got to the national convention, we just didn't bring enough delegates. That's just how it goes. It happens like that. But Donald Trump showed up to our national convention and he got on stage and basically was like,
all that.
He's like, listen, you're all fucking losers. If you want to continue to be a loser, you can vote for the Republic or the Libertarian.
Did he say that?
Yeah, dude, it was like almost verbatim. He didn't say the F word, but I do. And he's like, you're all losers. If you want to continue to be losers, you can vote for the Libertarian, or you could just endorse me and make me the Libertarian candidate. But that's up to you. If you guys want to keep losing, I'm going to free Ross. We're going to go after the Fed. We're going to do all this stuff. And it kind of like really kind of helped me make my choice that if Chase got the fucking nomination, I was gonna go and be Team MAGA. You know what I mean? And I did. So
you heard him say that, and you were like,
"Yeah, I don't want to be a fucking loser, dude. Yeah, holy shit, we are losers." And you've been to national conventions before, dude. It looks like a giant. Oh. It looks like a Comic-Con, but like dumber. You know what I mean? And it's just it's really like that was my 4th national convention in a row since the first one that you came to with me, and I've been to like hundreds of state conventions, and I kind of got to this point where I was like, look, I love libertarian ideals. You know, I've kind of come to a crossroads on some things. Obviously, I'm a born again Christian, and I love my faith, and I think that some of the libertarian ideals are a little like I don't want people smoking crack at my kid's school like throughout. You know what I mean? Like there's just I've kind of gone culturally right. On a lot of things that I wouldn't have been when I was libertarian. So, I'm obviously way more conservative on abortion than I used to be. I'm way more conservative on immigration than I used to be. And so I kind of got at odds with the party anyways, but it's true. It's like I helped lead the national party for fucking years, dude. I sat on the board for almost 5 years for the national committee. And I just realized that it like didn't matter who was in charge of the party, that it was always going to be like this cesspool of infighting and dorks that mean nothing at all to politics, like holding these positions that they think are like Game of Thrones positions that don't do anything. And so now people are asking me, what do you think about this shit with Angela McArdle and, this embezzlement scheme? And I'm like, look, dude, Angela's the only one who's got anything like done politically from the Libertarian Party in the history of the Libertarian Party. I don't know if she's embezzling funds, but I know what I know that the example they're giving, that her baby daddy or live-in domestic partner started a phone banking company and they funneled money to him. That I don't believe that is legally the definition of embezzlement. I believe that maybe they were getting paid to do phone banking, and it was just happened to be her baby daddy, and they were, it was enriching her. I don't know. I don't care because I've left the Libertarian Party and I'm no longer working inside the Libertarian Party, and I stepped down from all my roles in the Libertarian Party, and I'm running as a Republican, and I'm in with the Liberty Republicans here in Iowa. So like, I don't really care, but I also don't think it was embezzlement. And I do believe that Angela was able to accomplish more politically from the Libertarian Party than anyone ever has in the history of the Libertarian Party. So, but it's just always going to be that like dumpster fire of infighting and, well, my position's important. Like, you don't do anything, dork. You don't do a fucking thing. You sit around and argue about the comma placement in bylaws all day, dude. You're accomplishing nothing. Zero things. So Trump really did speak to me. He's like, do you want to be a loser forever? Do you want to keep the same future for your children forever? And it's like, no, I don't. I don't want to be a loser, and I don't want my children to have the same future or worse than what we faced. And And maybe it is time to move on and try to do something politically important. And, that was really kind of my decision to walk away from the party. You haven't been in the party in a long time.
No.
Couple years?
No, not since I went to the that convention and I got someone wrote me in for chair or something, I think.
Yeah, I think it was me.
I ran.
Yeah. I think
it was I wasn't there. I was working the BL desk with Lance, which was great. I had a great time doing that. That was awesome because we didn't have to do all of the sitting and listening to things. But I heard something, and I think it was Caitlin that ran up and was like, no, don't. He's not gonna. I guarantee it. Not gonna wanna. And then someone came and got me, and it was
I remember specifically someone nominating you, and I think I seconded. And I was running for chair at that convention. So that'll tell you how serious I was in 2018.
That was terrifying. Thank you.
Anyways, what else you got over there?
It was since then I haven't, when I stopped doing this stuff, I just stopped. At first I decided I wanted to try and do more behind the scenes. I don't like just all the arguing about benign bullshit. So I tried to just write and help people with media stuff. And then that's lame too. So I just stopped.
Well, what else you got over there on your notes, buddy?
Oh, so yeah, it's not just so the notes are an accompaniment to okay. So I talked to you about this, but I didn't want to show it to you. So this is a surprise to Josh. Is what here we have. I know it's tough to find topics sometimes on a pod. So we have a wheel o talking points here. That we can.
That's fucking nice. I gotta get one of those.
Yeah, it was on Amazon.
It's whiteboarded, huh? You can just whiteboard write it on there.
Yeah. So I named them too. I don't want anyone, getting too clever. So there's stuff on here. I think one of weird Italian shit is pretty inherent.
Yeah, that's a good one for sure. That's your wheelhouse.
Yeah, I'm a weird Italian. So, and then I tried to make it as nondescript as possible, so we didn't know what we were going to get into specifically until we got there. These are difficult to see with the dry erase marker, so I figured we'll just take turns. You go first since it's your show, and we'll just, if it lands there, you just get to talk about something that you are mad about or something like that. Okay. All right. So I took, and we were talking, you told me here's some of the stuff I was thinking about. So those are included in here. Again, I am the code keeper. So when it lands, I'll know what it is we're going to talk about. And I came prepared. So I have some stuff for it. Are we ready to spin the wheel?
Let's spin the fucking wheel, dude. Let's go.
All right. No whammies. Here we go.
No whammies.
Oh, the thing broke. It broke.
What was that?
It's okay. We're going to stop here. Well, it's a little.
We're hearing Italian shit. Perfect.
Man, damn it. Okay, let's do it. We're Italian shit. Let's go.
Italian shit. Why do Italians literally water down their porch, dude? I mean, what's going on there? You got to keep it clean, I guess, huh?
Right. Okay. So
what is the fire burning inside of you that makes you do this?
I don't know. And it's so I was not. The wheel does not have Harambe to answer that question. I don't know if I can see all the chat, but I saw Michael ask that one. I don't know. I didn't know it was something that other Italians did until you started talking to me about your grandpa. For me, it was just well, because I was I had an apartment and stuff too. So sometimes you have a patio porch area, especially the older ones where it's not this big building. And it was just well, I don't need to get if I have to do the leaf blower, then you have to clean it. So you just use the hose. And everything is taken care of in one effort, which is probably inefficient. But that's why I always did it. I didn't know it was a thing.
My grandfather did this 3-4 times a week, dude. He would go outside. He had slip-on, like fake Vans slip-ons from the Payless shoe store.
Yeah.
And He would go out there with his hose and sometimes a push broom, and he would
Push brooms are good.
Yeah, he would spray down the whole porch, the front of the house, the walkway to the driveway, and the driveway, and he cleaned it.
Well, it gets in between the
day.
crevasses too, real well. That's a nice benefit. You get the thumb, like you're basically a pressure washer, you know.
Yeah, my mom's in the chat going, I can't believe you did that too. Grandpa did it down the house, she said.
I didn't know. I never did it to cool down the house. It just felt productive. It was like I didn't know it was. There's other Italian stuff, right? It's weird Italian things that I have done that apparently that I've learned is actually like a common Italian. I didn't even know, which was like I don't like quick meals, right?
Yeah,
so
you
like
gotta
a lot
hand make your pasta and cook your sauce for 3 fucking days. And
I mean, I do that too, but not necessarily that, right? I mean more so of like tons of people are fine. Like we're gonna go get some food. We're gonna eat it in the car, right? And they're just like, I'm just gonna eat while I'm in the car, and I have stuff to do, and so I'm just gonna do that, right? I hate that. I hate it. There's got to be a whole thing. Like I want to get my food. I want to get home. I want to get comfortable. I want to sit down. I want to arrange it, right? It's a whole event. We're doing things, right? We have special time carved out so we can enjoy this thing. I didn't know that's apparently like a big thing. It's like a big Italian thing.
Well, I think this has got to be like an older man Italian thing too, man. Because I've definitely dusted some serious grilled stuffed burritos with you in the middle of the night in a car repeatedly over and over and over.
Look, when push comes to shove, I didn't say I wouldn't ever. It's not like it's an impossibility, right? But when given the option, I think you say old man thing, but I think it's just a matter of like I've got somewhere I could go to eat. That was kind of a problem.
Yeah, that makes a difference too. I guess having a place that you can go and sit down and eat, it does change things quite a bit.
Yeah,
we definitely did have a lot of places to eat sometimes.
No, and it's not just us. I mean, you for so many people just seems to be like, where can we go?
My mom asked, do you also have a bowl of salad with every meal?
A bowl of salad?
Yes, my grandpa always did that every meal, and it was just red wine vinegar and oil on his salad.
That sounds fantastic. I don't with every meal, but I do. Now I think about it, I do probably have it a lot with stuff. I am a fan of the oil and vinegar.
We've been doing salads recently. So do you hear the circus music when you're spraying down the front of the house? Does it play in your head?
No.
Okay. All right.
No, I do. But now after our discussions, it's like, okay. But another weird thing, a lot of people, this is weird too. And we can move on from weird Italian stuff. I don't know how engaging this is, but every holiday, right? People have, they're like, okay, well, Christmas we have prime rib, Thanksgiving, right? You got stuffing turkey, blah, blah, blah. Every holiday in my family, there's always like the uncle or the great uncle, my grandpa, someone's bringing like a 5-gallon bucket of marinara sauce and a bunch of pasta. And it doesn't matter. And like a few Ziploc bags full of Italian, like chopped Italian. It doesn't matter what else we're having. And no one ever cared. No one ever asked any questions. It was just accepted and understood that like whatever else, it's fine. You can make that, but no, that we're going to bring enough spaghetti to feed a small army of individuals.
Yes. Well, and as you should, I have learned the value of spaghetti having 7 children, dude, because you can make an ass load of spaghetti for very cheap.
Yeah.
Very cheap. And we grew up on an Italian spaghetti that was my grandfather's family's hundreds of years old recipe, and it was instead of beef, it has bacon in it and bacon fat because my family was hunters. They were like Italian hunters, and they'd go out for days at a time hunting, and the beef would not keep in the icebox, but the bacon and bacon grease because it's cured wood.
Ask mom. Are that Southern or Northern?
I believe that my grandfather's Italian family is Southern. I don't think they're from the North, but I could be wrong.
Do they do a ricotta or a bechamel on the lasagna? This is deep. This
probably
is
probably ricotta in that family for sure.
In the South, I don't know. In the South, it's usually
it could be bechamel. I don't know. My wife now is Sicilian, like full blown Sicilian.
So she's like me.
Yes. Yeah. And she
Good.
gets the
That's weird. That's super weird that you went there. But
yeah,
okay,
I
get
was
it,
like,
kinda.
I was miss my best friend. It's like weird Italian antics so much that I married one.
You
And
went and found him.
yeah, and
Yeah.
she's my mom says that he's Southern. She believes. So
it's bechamel. Yeah.
so now I understand. Italian women are.
I'm sorry.
Tough. They're tough. They're tough. It's a tough.
Oh,
one.
there was more. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's a.
It's a tough one, buddy. It's a tough.
Italian
women are tough.
It can only be so bad because I love all the women in my family. They're great, but there's a learning curve.
It is. It is.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have a face, and look, you just did it right now. You basically did Italian face. It's like this pursed lip, like face, and it can mean so many different things. With a woman, maybe not you, but with a woman specifically of Italian descent, especially Sicilian. When the lips get pursed like that, I'm in trouble. I've done something wrong, and I tell her, "You have Italian face. What did I do wrong?"
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm sorry if she's listening that I have given you ammunition to understand your landscape a little bit.
Well, I learned that if she gets Italian face, to immediately chuck spaghetti at her and run away, and everything goes back to normal. Yeah, that's how you do it.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
My wife is a gluten-free Italian.
That's no way to live.
That's no way to live. But she has.
Let me get that thing that fell off so we can spin the wheel.
Oh yeah, we got to spin the wheel.
Yeah. It's a fun wheel. One second.
What up, Fubs? He said, "I live in Sicily. Trust me, there is no understanding Italian women." Correct. It's a brutal way to live. It's an interesting way to live, and it's an exciting way to live. They're passionate, these Italian women, very passionate.
Never a dull moment, I can tell you that. I don't know if she has this one, but for a lot of the women in my family, it's like talking about other people is kind of like an Olympic sport.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's tough. I have a hard time because because a lot of times it travels into waters where you're like, listen, there is more skin in the game required for this discussion than I am ready to deposit. Like I'm not going to do that.
Italians do love to gossip, dude, especially Italian women. There's no doubt.
Yeah. And so there's that factor, but then the other factor is like, I can only go on about one thing so much until you just kind of like glaze. And it's like, yeah. We just talked about that 10 minutes ago, but let's pretend we didn't. Let's keep.
Yeah. I'm not a misogynist, only to Italian women. That works.
Great. Yeah. That's great. Yeah. Okay. Well, that sounds about time for the wheel.
Spin the fucking wheel. Let's go, buddy.
Okay, here we go. All right, let's see.
I'll break it this time.
Okay, let's spin it. No whammies. There we go. Good. I'm so excited. We got nude Africa. Are you ready? Are you ready? So no. Okay, so we had talked before, right? And you told me that this is good.
I don't remember anything about nude Africa. I'm going to be very honest with you.
Yeah, well, you told me that there was a bit there to where you haven't been on the show, right. You haven't done it. So there was a couple different things that I could name that slide. I'm glad we went with nude Africa. It's very seductive. Okay, so are you familiar with Mark Robinson?
No. Yes.
No. Okay. So he is a North Carolina GOP nominee for governor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was just looking for stuff that happened while you were, not, doing your show. Cause I figured we could catch up. Right. And this seemed a great story to catch up on. I mean, how'd you miss it? Right. How'd you go on the show and not talk about it? So Mark Robinson, the controversial and socially conservative Republican nominee for governor of North Carolina, made a series of inflammatory comments on a pornography website's message board more than a decade ago, in which he referred to himself as, you ready? This was the other optional name for the slide. The Black Nazi.
Oh, he's a Black Nazi. Okay. All right.
Yeah. You haven't heard about this?
No, I have not. I'm not. I think it mentioned, didn't he get shot too or something recently?
Yeah, I don't know. But after reading this, I'm not saying I condemn it, but I'm not surprised
Yeah, people are going to come after you now. You can't come after the black Nazi like that, buddy.
I'm not. So there's a lot of stuff here. I wanted to go over some of it with you, though. I feel like it can give us a little bit to talk about.
Oh, it was his chief of staff.
No.
It was his chief of staff when he was a lieutenant governor. Was shot at a church in Winston-Salem. That's what happened.
Got you.
Woman, I believe.
I was going to say I don't think his chief of staff did this.
The first black female chief of staff to serve the new North Carolina lieutenant governor's office in state history. Robinson called her appointment a historic moment. At about 12:10 a.m. on January 1st, police responded to a shooting at St. Peter Church World Outreach Center located in Old Lexington Road in Winston-Salem. At the scene, officers found Krishna's light suffering from a gunshot wound. It gets wild over in North Carolina, I guess.
Oh, you have no idea. Well, let's get into just how wild.
Let's dive in.
Yeah. Okay. So, right. Pornography forums, right? We'll just pick up right where we left off. First of all, I guess that politicians are the answer to who leaves these comments. Interesting. So, despite a recent history of anti-transgender rhetoric, Robinson said he enjoyed watching transgender pornography. A review of archived messages found in which he also referred to himself as a perv, which is surprisingly the least
offensive
absurd thing.
Sure.
Yeah, that's happened here. The comments in which Robinson denies making predate his entry into politics and current stint as North Carolina's lieutenant governor. They were made under a username that's I don't even want to talk about. I'm not going to give anything to any of these outlets. Was able to identify as Robinson by matching a litany of biographical details and shared email addresses between. So he was like, okay, this wasn't me. I didn't do it. But like, if like he just like use his email, right? So like if you have your Break the Cycle website and you have your like contact,
I was hacked. I was hacked.
Right, I was hacked, even though it's using like absolutely my email 10 years ago.
That was, sir, you logged in with your thumbprint. Right. I was hacked.
Yeah, it was hacker. This is fake. Yeah. So many of Robinson's comments were gracious. No, it's not gracious. It's definitely gratuitously sexual and lewd in nature. They were made between 2008 and 2012 on Nude Africa, which is where the name of our slice comes from.
Nude Africa is the website.
That is the pornographic website, yes. Pornographic website includes a message board. The comments were made under the username Mini Soldier, spelled MINISOLDR, a moniker Robinson used frequently online. I'm going to skip a bunch. Okay, so here, as if the email wasn't evidence enough, Robinson also listed his full name on his profile for Nude Africa. Thank you, Wayback Machine, for being able. The
internet is forever, folks. It's forever.
Yes, it is. As well as an email address that he used on numerous websites across the internet for decades.
Oh yeah. I was hacked. When I was a kid. When I was a kid, Nude Africa was just the National Geographic magazines. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do remember that. I always felt so.
You know, in juvenile hall, you're like, "Where's those National Geographic magazines?"
Yeah, you see boobies without the static. That's how that was the game. Right. Many of Robinson's comments on Nude Africa stand in contrast to his public stances on issues such as abortion and transgender rights. Publicly, Robinson had fiercely argued that people should use bathrooms only that correspond with their gender they were assigned at birth. He's also said that transgender women should be arrested for using women's restrooms.
Yeah, that's this is very common of people that are like repressed.
It's called projection.
Yeah, for sure. This is very, very common of repressed homosexuals. And, you know, there are people out there that are legit like, this shouldn't happen. You know what I mean? Like that. I don't want, and like, I probably at some point, I don't want like grown men. Like, listen, I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area. I've seen a lot of trans people in my life. And there's some like straight up burly ass dudes that I don't want walking into my fucking child's bathroom. Okay. That's just the truth. That's just me being a protective father. But I do know, there is, I've known people that were, like very violent, angry people and, ended up being gay eventually. It happens. Repressed. Sounds like Mr. Robinson might've been a little repressed.
Oh, we've got some info.
Oh, we got more. We got more.
Yeah. So his position. All right. Look, I understand it's a position that people talk about. That's not new. His argument, it's pretty special. You're a man on a Friday night, and all of a sudden, Saturday, you feel like a woman. You can't think of a better way to position an art. Anyway, whatever. Okay. Friend, you feel like a woman. You want to go into the woman's bathroom in the mall, you will be arrested or whatever we got to do to you. So that was his argument. We're going to protect our women. Yet privately, under the username Mini Soldier on Nude Africa, Robinson graphically described his own sexual arousal as an adult from the memory of secretly peeping on women in public gym showers as a 14-year-old.
Oh, geez, this is getting worse. It's getting worse.
It's good. I mean, listen, I'm not going to put it on a slide.
Yeah, it wouldn't be on a fucking wheel. Spin wheel if it didn't.
It's on the wheel.
Right? Yeah, okay, all right.
It's got to be something,
hey,
you know.
You weren't fucking around today. I like it.
I just, so, okay. I came to a spot that it was a dead end, had two big vent covers. This is it's a quote, a direct quote. Of course, no, so it's a Mini Soldier quote on the Nude Africa forums, which at this point we have learned use his name, his email. He said, I came to a spot that was dead end, but it had two big vent covers over it. It just so happened that it overlooked the showers. I sat there for about an hour and watched as several girls came in and showered. This outlet is not publishing the graphic sexual details of the story, so there's a bunch they left out, but he did continue to say, I went peeping again the next morning, but after that, I went back to the ladder and it was locked. So those 2 times were the only times I got to do it. Memories, lots of exclamation marks. On other comments on the same forum, he actually expressed his affinity for transgender pornography. He says, I like watching. Okay, this is a quote, by the way. So
this isn't your own personal biography here.
Huh? Right. This is him. This is a direct quote, at least as according, right, to the Nude Africa forum. He says, I like watching tranny on girl porn. That's effing hot. It takes the man out while leaving the man in. He has a way with words.
I'm not going to lie. I understand that argument.
I mean, it's literally happened with the in.
The argument makes sense if you think about it. That's a it's a good argument.
It's technically correct.
If that was the only weird thing that he had said, and he hadn't talked about watching young women through the bathroom wall, and then talking about being worried about men being in the bathroom on this. I mean, the whole thing is just he's repressed. He wears women's stockings at night for sure. There's no.
Yeah. And so he went out and said, it's not me. I didn't do it. I'm not going to get into it. This is manufactured. It's fake news. There's a lot of stuff. I'm trying to get through it here. History of controversial statements. So as people find out about this stuff, they dig into your history. They see what else you did. He advocated for a complete abortion ban without exceptions. And then he later expressed regret in 2022 for paying for his now wife an abortion in the 80s. Whatever. Campaign. He says supporters so-called heartbeat bill. Okay, there's more here. Writing as Mini Soldier on Nude Africa in December 2010, Robinson said he did not care about a celebrity having an abortion. He said, and quote, I don't care. I just want to see the sex tape.
Jeez.
Yeah.
This guy's a fucking winner, dude.
Priorities. Yeah, he's a good guy.
He's really up there.
In another thread, commenters considered whether to believe the story of a woman who had said she was raped by her taxi driver while intoxicated. In response, Robinson wrote, and the moral of this story is don't F a white bee.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So he would become North Carolina's first black governor if elected. Also repeatedly maligned civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. on the forum, of course, attacking him and calling him in such intense terms that a user accused him of being a white supremacist.
Let's keep it to the negative things from him, okay?
Get that effing commie bastard off the National Mall. Robinson wrote about the dedication of the memorial to King in Washington, D.C. by then President Barack Obama. He said, I'm not the KKK. They don't let blacks join. If I was the KKK, I would have him called Martin Lucifer slur that rhymes with tune.
I don't understand how a guy that sucks so bad can have based take like that, but It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. He's really
son.
harming. He's really harming the Martin Luther King Jr. was a communist movement. I'm not
He's
gonna lie.
nominated politician.
That's wild.
This is the bigger headline, I think, maybe.
Yeah, the worst part about that's the story for me. The worst part about that story is the peeping Tom shit. I mean, that's
okay. So
disqualified from life, bro.
Oh yeah, but really quick, I just want to give everyone that might be watching that has a problem with Josh that thinks they can bring up benign situations that may have existed in his past. Okay, we have now covered a black Nazi GOP nominee. Listen, if you've been listening, you know what he did. And look, we got more.
There's more.
Yeah, so I think maybe might have to find some new.
We should have cut the Martin Luther King stuff. That was good. That was good stuff. I want to hear the bad stuff.
Jesus. Okay. He calls it complete fiction. There's a lot here about like him and his people just saying like it's nothing. Okay. Despite earning a full endorsement from President Donald Trump, North Carolina Republican Party Robinson faces like no, Trump did no homework on this, right?
Zero.
Like he looked at his website and he was like, yeah, we're good. Okay.
Hey, dude, that's how we're hoping to get the endorsement too. You know what I mean?
There you go, buddy. Just do a couple like quotes that'll get picked up by someone.
Yeah,
just talk
not
about
gonna
how cool
not gonna talk
Trump
about my
is.
days as a peeping Tom at 14 years old, but you know, whatever.
Probably don't want to do this. Okay, he did talk about how much he likes rape and incest and disparaging the civil rights movement.
Holy shit!
Yeah. Let's see what else. On Nude Africa website, in both comments and on his profile, Mini Soldier offered numerous details that align precisely with Robinson's personal history. They go through a bunch of stuff that just kind of really validate. He says, like, I did military time in this span, and like it turns out that this guy did. So it's just more stuff that kind of like validates that it's him. More proof. It's a username often used. So people found that he actually. So the same campaign, like Twitter handle that he used, he once had named the same name on the Nude Africa website.
Wow, so
he changed it obviously when he went to.
He's a loser and he's stupid.
Yeah. He's also used it on other places. He's left reviews on Amazon with the name.
Do we have any Amazon reviews to read?
No, but we've got better. Wait. Okay. Pornographic forums, uncommon phrases such as gag a maggot, dunderhead, I don't give a frog's ass, and I don't give two shakes of it were used by Mini Soldier on Nude Africa.
Oh, wow.
So we're almost at an end here. This is the coup d'etat, as they'd say. Robinson as Mini Soldier, quote, slavery is not bad. In the pornographic forums, Robinson revealed his unvarnished thoughts on issues such as race, gender, and abortion. Writing in a forum discussing Black Republicans in October 2010, Robinson stated, unprovoked, I'm a Black Nazi. That same month, Robinson wrote in another post that he supported the return of slavery. Quote, slavery is not bad. Some people need to be slaves. I wish they would bring it back. I would certainly buy a few.
I think he's, the guy's probably watched, what's that movie?
Something too much. Whatever it is, you need to cut back.
Yeah, he's watching too many movies. That guy doesn't understand. Look, I don't want to take care of more people. I got enough kids. You know what I mean? Like, slavery's not cool.
In 2012, he had noted that he would prefer the leadership of Adolf Hitler to Barack Obama.
Same policies, really. Mostly same policies. Other than the Jewish thing, a lot of the same policies.
Well, no. Robinson's comments on Nude Africa often frequently contain derogatory and racial slurs directed at Black, Jewish, and Muslim people.
Now, how funny were they, though? That's the important part.
I'm trying to position it. Okay. Robin used the anti-Semitic term. Is this a bad word again? Still, is this like super fat? Heeb? He said heeb.
Oh, dude, that's the title to a NoFX album.
Yeah. White trash, two heebs, and bean. You're right. Yeah. He liked the show Good Times, developed by Norman Lear, saying the show itself was a bunch of heeb-written liberal bullshit. While discussing the Taliban, he referred to Muslims as little rag-headed bastards and said if Muslims took over, liberals would be the first ones to be beheaded. Robinson also used homophobic slurs frequently, calling other users F-slurs. In a largely positive forum discussion featuring a photo of two men kissing after one returned from a military deployment, Robinson wrote the sole negative comment that said, and I quote, "That's some old sick A F-slur bullshit," he wrote. So that is what we missed there.
I think in 2025, you can actually just say the word now. It's okay.
Maybe you not run for office. Maybe. I don't know. You shouldn't. That's pretty rough. This is some stuff. I mean, there's some things.
Yeah.
This
guy's a piece of work, dude. It's pretty funny. Listen.
Yeah.
Some of the shit's funny, but some of it's serious. Fucking really serious, dude. Like I agree with him on most of the Martin Luther King stuff. I know.
I want to just real quick before you go too far on what you agree with. Yeah. I want to bring it back to the fact that these comments were left on a foreign website forum.
Dude Africa. National Geographic forum.
Yeah, that's. I mean, like you're like, you know what? I'm gonna go on Pornhub and
talk about
Martin Luther King. I'm gonna let him know how I feel about that. Right? Like, what's going on? What are you doing?
Oh, dude, that's crazy. That is really This is probably not the craziest story I've heard of a politician, though. We got to be honest here. Like, this is
no, but it's well, like I said, it happened during your hiatus. So
yeah, it's really funny. As I guess some people would call me a politician. John wouldn't. Vinny wouldn't call me a politician. That's for sure.
Named me.
Sorry, dude. Sorry, bro. I know you would not.
I don't care.
I know you would not call me a politician because you know me better than that. But that's what people are like. Oh, well, you have all this baggage. I'm like, bro, have you ever met the actual politicians before?
Yeah,
I have very little baggage.
That's what I said in the beginning. I was like, as I read through this, I want everyone listening who might be as opposed to my guy here, you need more. I mean, at this point in the game,
I've done a lot of crazy shit, and I talk about it frequently, but it doesn't hold a candle to peeping Tom on high school gym girls, dude. Like, I don't know.
But I guess, like, I mean, whether or not anyone likes it, like, you gotta have some more ammunition. I think. I don't know if that stuff's gonna work out.
Yeah, it's not gonna work for me. All right, spin the wheel. Where are we going?
Spin the wheel. All right, I gotta adjust the. Okay. What do we got?
Weird Italian shit again.
No. Here, we're in between the two. How'd that get there?
The fuck I can't read that.
How'd that get there? That's why I'm reading it for you. I see, but there's some people, maybe they can't read there, but some people watch it on the TV, maybe it's bigger. How'd that get there? So this is Doge, right? DOGE, the Department of crazy bullshit. Let you take the floor. It's your show. That was the topic that you wanted to discuss. I think it was an apt title.
I just got done watching some middle-aged housewife talk about how everything they're doing is unconscious. It takes an act of Congress to get bureaucracy, and I was like, this lady doesn't know anything she's talking about at all. Look, and I just said this on Twitter yesterday. If you're more worried about the billionaire that's pointing out fraud, waste, and corruption of your tax money than you are about the fraud, waste, and corruption using your tax money, you're probably not the good guy in this story. You know what I mean? Like, look, we all know. Even these, like, okay, we all pick a team and then we vote and then we're like, hey, our team won, or shit, our team lost, and we're fighting the team that lost. But at the end of the day, if you're too fucking stupid to realize that, like, both sides of these teams have been, like, stealing our money and using them for their own pet projects and corruption for decades and decades and generations, then, like, either you know that this is happening and you're turning a blind eye because the other team is pointing it out, or you're so stupid that you aren't aware that the government is stealing from you and using your money for their own pet projects and enriching their own family members and their own pockets and cronies. Which I honestly don't know which is worse. Like, if you think that your government is honest and using your tax dollars in all these great ways, and they're not, like, laundering money through Ukraine and DEI programs in Pakistan, and, like, if you don't think that those are money laundering schemes, then you're stupid. And that may be just as bad as knowing that, turning a blind eye because it's your own team. And so like, look, I'm not particularly fan of the billionaire class, right? That might sound very communist, but I'm not. I think that there is a lot of exploitative things that come out of the billionaire class and of the especially the corporate and big tech class, right? Like when we talk about fascism, to the left and people who use that word all the time, it means, oh, anybody I don't like, fascist, right? But like the truth is that like that term was coined. It was coined because of the merger of state and corporate power, right? And like we just watched that happen in real time during COVID, right? Like we watched them use OSHA to try and bring the hammer down on corporations to force you to get something that you probably didn't want to get. That's fascism, my man. That's real fascism. And without all of this funding of like all these crazy like corporate interests through your politicians with your tax dollars, that probably never would have happened. And so I for one am proud to be a member of the Doge Army, my man. And I want to see as much government bureaucracy. Look, I think they already have eliminated like 40,000 government like federal government and contract jobs. That's insane, dude. And this offer from Trump to what over 2 million federal employees to take a severance, like would save the country like billions of dollars. So like we're on a good track here. Like if you're a libertarian and you're watching this going, oh, that's not good because Trump's doing it. Like you're stupid. You're fucking stupid. You're wrong. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful fucking thing that they're getting rid of government bureaucracy left and right, that they've pardoned Ross Ulbricht, that they're actually doing things that we wanted to see happen. Look, the first time in our entire fucking lives we have a sitting president talking about ending the federal income tax, dude. And you're blackpilling? You're doom pilling on me right now? What's wrong with you, dude? This is the greatest era for liberty-based policies that you've ever had in your entire life, and you're doom pilling right now. That's what you're doing.
Well, hold on. Don't get too out of the weeds, because some of that ties into some other stuff on the wheel, right? We're gonna get to all of it. It's your show. Listen to me hosting you. I have a question though. So you mentioned how much money with Doge they've uncovered. So I've been curious. I've had friends that have asked me about this, right? They just curious about how I feel about it, right? For whatever reason, it's probably stupid. They respect my opinion on things. God bless their souls. But
you're one of those guys. You're one of those guys that just commands a room. Sorry, I did it again. You always have been. Look, this is always going to be hard for me.
Yeah, it's for anyone who knows me and has it. Vincent is my middle name. So okay, but listen, cat's out of the Italian cat's out of the bag. So I'm just curious because I've seen some of this stuff. I've seen Elon post. I've seen him talk about like, this is how much we've cleaned up. This is what's happened. Here's some of the efficiencies that they've done, and I think it's great. And if everything he's saying is true, that's awesome. It's rad. I love it. Making things more efficient, clean, right? Like it's hard to make a logical case against it. My question, and this is genuinely a question, I don't know. This is not an argument. I don't know. Is there any way we can see this stuff? Is there a place that has the data? Because I feel like it is a little bit ridiculous. Like you mentioned, like it's kind of absurd. They're like, a lot of people are focusing on the fact that Elon's doing it. He's a from the private sector, whatever implications that may have. And it does feel a bit foolish to kind of miss the forest for the trees there and say like, look, but if this is a stuff that they're actually really finding, isn't that kind of secondary to what's being uncovered here? So is there a place that you know of that anybody knows of? Because I feel like having some proof could help.
Yeah, most of this stuff is packed in spending bill. Okay, and like nobody reads the spending bills. Like that's the problem, right?
Didn't Nancy Pelosi say something? It was like, well, we got to pass it so we can read it.
Yeah, you got to pass it so we know what's in it. But like that's the thing. That's the thing is like nobody reads. We get these thousands of pages long spending bills that are supposed to be like the yearly budget or quarterly budget or defense spending and we always talk about like packing. This is why, if I was to win, my seat senator, Senate, like you have staffers and you tell those staffers like, dude, I need you to read through this. no way I'm going to be able to read through this 48 hours we have leading up to the vote. And so, like, that's why I like people like Thomas Massey, obviously the greatest congressman in my lifetime next to Ron Paul, who is like, no, I'm going to vote no on this until you start separating these issues out. I'm always going to vote no because you don't give us enough time to read it. There's all kinds of shit packed in here that has nothing to do with the main issue that we're voting on. And so my vote's no. And he explains that to everybody, and people still get mad at him. And it's like, dude, we need more congressmen that are willing to say no. I'm not voting on these issues unless they're separated, because that's what happens. We're sending. Let me. I saved a couple of really important ones here. Let me see.
That's my question. Like, where are you getting? Where are you seeing this? If it's because you know what I'm saying, right? Like, for argumentation's sake.
Yeah, well, I'm going through and reading the reports
Elon
from
on Twitter.
I've been going through and reading the reports from Doge, obviously. But look,
they have reports. That's what I was asking. Where can you get those?
Yeah, they're you can definitely get them from Elon on Twitter for sure, because he stuff. But $70,000 for production of a DEI musical in Ireland, $2.5 million for electrical vehicles for Vietnam, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. This is your government.
A lot of demand for that in Peru.
We got to spread democracy and transgenderism. Those are two very important things to spread around the world, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I will say this, this is how we're supposed to be, like, making allies around the world, is like sending $7,000 for a trans opera. Like, that doesn't, like, that's your tax money that they're stealing from you. You're working a third of your life for a federal government that's sending money to Peru for transgender theater. Like, come on. At what point do we go, yes, I don't give a fuck who's doing it. I don't care if it's Elon. I don't care. Look, it doesn't matter who comes and audits the Federal Reserve and the spending bills and says, hey, you're getting defrauded all over the place here. We're going to cut all this stuff. I don't care who does it. I don't give a shit who does it. Someone needs to do it.
The play or cutting the
the transgender play in Peru has to be done. Must be done.
Someone needs to do it.
David, what
someone
must be
needs
done?
To do it. Did you hear? So someone was passed over to me that I thought was, and it just for the sake of entertainment, I feel like is hilarious. So, what Mark Pocan? I don't know. Someone will tell me I'm stupid and pronouncing it wrong. It wouldn't be the first time. I don't care. But he released an Elon Musk Act. So it is eliminate looting of our nation by mitigating unethical state kleptocracy act, which would ban special government employees like Musk from having federal contracts. So, but that isn't the reason I wanted to mention it. What I'm really interested in, so that we have Doge, right? The Department of Governmental Efficiency. And then we've got now the Elon Musk Act, which is essentially, right, this big acronym. I am completely here for the acronym wars to continue. And I want to see how bad it gets, because we are at a point in politics where the divisiveness is thus that, like, we might straight up get like suck my dick act, right? Like, yes. Someone might just go hard in the paint.
Getting that crazy out there.
And so I applaud this. I think if you're listening out there, Washington, keep going. Let's see just how absurd we can get.
How far we can take it.
Well,
and there's already been a staffer on Doge named Giant Balls.
Big Balls?
Big Balls.
Giant Balls.
Giant Balls.
Yeah.
Big Balls. No, I think
odd thing to brag about. I understand BDE. I've never quite understood the obsession with, like, hey, but you know what? My scrotum can hold a basketball.
All of them get big once you get older, bro. You know what I mean?
I just don't see it as something to brag about, but that's just me.
At some point, we all have to lift them so we don't touch the water. That works, dude.
How else you can know if your toilet's broken? You know? So that's that with Doge. I think we covered it all. I tend to agree, by the way. Like, if we can find out that it's the case that this is eliminating a bunch of inefficient stuff and spending money on things that we shouldn't be spending, like, obviously that's correct. It shouldn't matter who's doing it. It shouldn't matter how much you think he's a weird South African or whatever else he's done, right? If it cleans things up from an economic standpoint, it's probably going to make your eggs cheaper. So shut up.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a funny thing. I was at Trader Joe's yesterday.
Oh, good.
2 days ago.
The Cult of Joe. Yeah.
Trader Joe's is all right. Price wise, you can actually get some pretty good food there for decent prices. But I took a picture because I was actually shocked here at Trader Joe's. So I've been seeing the price of eggs have been pretty high.
Yeah.
That's probably
not cheap.
That's probably me underselling it, but Trader Joe's has cage-free grade A eggs, large white, 1 dozen, vegetarian fed, no antibiotics used. $3.49. $3.49 a dozen, which they also have a sign up next to it that says, please only take 1 dozen.
Don't do the Costco thing. Knock it off with the paper stuff. Right? Did we learn nothing, you heathens?
But I live in the middle of like chicken land where they have chickens.
You wiped your ass with chickens during COVID. Is that what you're trying to get to?
Exactly how we
wiped
our asses. Yeah, we had to use random chickens. No,
instead of the coop, you say this is my chicken poop, right? And it's because you wiped your butt with the chickens and they're covered in shit.
So you can literally walk up to houses and be like, hey, you guys got any eggs? And they're like, yeah, we'll give you a dozen for $2 or whatever. So like, and they're farm fresh. You can leave. I don't know if you guys know this, but
did you do the thing where you put the eggs, you leave them in there, and people freak out because you leave them in like the container for like
you could just leave them on your counter here. Like so growing up in the city where we didn't.
Is that what you were? Did I snipe your point?
You did, but it's true. Like where we're from, nobody had fucking chickens. You know what I mean? And like,
no.
So I'd go to people's houses here in Iowa where everyone's got chickens once you get outside the city, and they just have like eggs in a bowl like sitting on their counter, and I'm like, dude, those eggs are gonna be terrible, bad. They're like, no, actually.
Wait, hold on. That's not entirely true. Do you remember? It was when I was going to high school at Live Oak, right? Continuation crew.
Oh, good old Live Oak, yeah.
I got a bachelor's degree. It's fine. I made it out of life. But remember what? Walking off the bus, there's a chicken next to me. It was Oakley.
Yeah, Oakley. So Oakley used to be pretty far. Well, when I was a kid,
like 3 blocks. He's like,
yeah. So going
hanging out.
Going to Brentwood, went to visit my great grandparents. People definitely had chickens. That was still farming land when I.
Yeah, Burnlin.
But like in Antioch, nobody had fucking chickens. You know what I mean? You never saw.
No, well, there were chickens in Antioch, but they weren't laying eggs. I'll tell you that right now.
But anyway, so apparently, if you don't wash your eggs, if you don't wash the outside of your eggs, they can sit on your counter for like a long time and totally be fine. But as you wash the film off them, your eggs will rot. And why the store-bought eggs rot so fast is because I didn't know that. I had no idea. No idea.
The more you know. Hey, chat.
Spin the wheel, Vinny.
You learned something new today. Yeah. Okay, here we go.
All right.
Where are we at?
Wait, what?
This is good. So I heard you were running for office. This is one of the funner ones. It doesn't really focus around current events. So I'll keep it short because I know there's some other stuff you want to talk about that we have on there that we haven't got to yet. I'll be quick. I just want to remind you that a lot of the people that you are soon going to be calling your peers in the event that you would win are actually functionally complete idiots. So here are some quotes from now this is a bipartisan bullying. I just pulled some of my favorite quotes from politicians on big stages, and I'm just going to run through some of them real quick and get your opinion on what you thought of these. This isn't the best quote. I'll start a little lukewarm, but it's Warren G. Harding, who's actually one of my favorite presidents because he almost crumbled the entire government, which I think is awesome.
By doing very little.
Yeah. He said, I am a man of limited talents from a small town. I don't seem to even grasp that I am the president.
That's a good one. That's the kind of person we need, I think. I think that's who we need.
Yeah. Richard Nixon, he's on here a couple times. This is a good oldie but goodie. Some people listening might already know a lot of these. Richard Nixon, I would have made a good pope. That's it.
And there's some truth to that, honestly. I'd imagine.
I don't think so. Okay. James Stockdale in the vice presidential debate, 1992. I don't know if anyone remembers. He was a running mate of Ross Perot.
Oh, I do remember Ross.
Yeah, so this is a good quote from him. Who am I? Why am I here? End quote.
Well, he didn't follow that up with the answers to those. It was just that was the quote.
That's the quote. Yeah, that's the quote. That's the quote. So it wasn't just Joe. Okay. So here's one of my favorites, and it might. It says Colin Powell on Iraq and WMDs. Every statement I make today is backed up by sources, solid sources. These are not assertions. What we are giving you are facts and conclusions based on solid intelligence. Now, before you respond, I am going to
2004 or 5.
Ask you. This is 2003.
Okay.
It was addressing the United Nations. So just real quick, you can either say you were talking to your mom or your wife, either one. Don't care. But let's just change some of the words used. How well do you think it would go over if you started a statement by saying everything I'm about to say, I can prove?
That's
well,
not gonna
okay.
Not gonna work
nothing is a lie. I'm not lying about anything. I'm not exaggerating anything. Everything I'm saying is completely true. And the conclusions that I will allude to are based on facts. What the level of confidence in the next thing that was going to come out of your mouth?
My wife would immediately stab me.
Yeah.
She'd be like, "You're definitely cheating." There's no doubt.
That sounds correct.
Immediately, yes. She would be like, "You're lying. Everything you're about to say is a lie. Nothing is backed up by facts at all. And now you're a dead man." My mom is saying that to my mom now as an adult. She'd probably be like, "Okay." As a child,
where's Maury when you need him?
Yeah, that was a lie. As a child, no. My mom would have been like, "Okay, dude, how many dishes are in the trash can?"
She's smart. She knows better. But Colin Powell, not so much.
He was wrong. And nothing was backed up by facts.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, it's a funny quote because it's like you should know better than to start your statement by like, okay, by the way, this isn't a lie. It's like, okay, great. I can't wait to hear the lie. Arnold Schwarzenegger on gay marriage. I think gay marriage should be between a man and a woman.
Yeah, gay marriage is definitely for a man and a woman.
Marriage is very gay.
You still do your Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation pretty well, or what?
Yeah, a little bit.
Let's hear it. Come on.
Dylan, I haven't been a while. You son of a bitch. What was it?
Dude.
What was the other? I forget. There's so many.
Get to the chopper. You used to do a lot.
Get to the chopper.
Yeah, that's pretty good, dude. It's pretty good.
You got to end it with the R. Yeah.
So
wait, hey, Dylan, you son of a bitch. The CIA got you pushing too many pencils. They got you pushing too many pencils at the CIA. See, I mix it up. It's been a while.
So, funny story for anybody. This is a total sidebar for anybody listening
pencils.
That likes metalcore and punk and hard shit. Tim Lambesis is an absolute mess in public now ever since trying to get his wife murdered. We know that.
That whole thing. Yeah.
I was a big As I Lay Dying fan. I loved that band. Tim, I was very sad to see his friend killed. Got back on the horse like some of the other As I Lay Dying fans have. But now they're done, completely done because of the most recent bout of narcissism from this man. But anyways, so I knew many years ago that this guy was a piece of shit because we have a good friend that we grew up with named Ted.
Arnocore.
And so Ted DiGeronimo. Ted DiGeronimo is the drummer in Arnocore. Wrestled.
Great. All those dudes are awesome. Okay, hey chat. If you're listening, go check out the band.
Let me finish this.
They're awesome. Yeah, you finish, but I'm just
Arnocore is a band that does Arnold Schwarzenegger metal and has for many, many, many years. And Tim Lambesis decided to start a side project called Austrian Death Machine, doing exactly the same thing as Arnocore. And the Arnocore guys called him and said, "Hey man, this is kind of our thing. You're obviously a little more famous than us, but we'd appreciate it if you didn't just like steal our whole thing." And Tim said, "Get fucked," hung up, and put out 3 albums as Austrian Death Machine. So we kind of already knew he was a piece of shit.
They weren't that good either. They weren't as good as Arnocore. No one does
not
like
even
Arnocore.
Close. Arnocore's been doing this for fucking years, and they like dress up and it's dope. Yeah, And Ted is
yeah,
cool.
breakdowns like, give me your boots and your motorcycle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyways,
It's pretty great.
Let's got more quotes.
Yeah, just a few more. I'm not going to go too long. Barry Goldwater on peanut butter. If you don't mind smelling like peanut butter for 2 or 3 days, peanut butter is a darn good shaving cream. Thanks, Barry.
Oh, well, you know what? Try that, because Barry was right about a lot of things.
I just feel like the arguments, if you don't smell like, okay, whatever. Okay, Gerald Ford on the current state of, this is one of my favorite ones. Things are more like they are now than they have ever been.
That's
Thanks,
no longer burdened by what may have been. That's straight out of the Kamala Harris playbook.
It's a lot. Okay. Wait. Oh, Dan Quayle on honestly, it was really hard to not just have a big list of Dan Quayle quotes. Dan Quayle on California. I love California. I practically grew up in Phoenix.
Yeah, real close. Real close. Just a couple hours away, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's what I think this one might, I mean, the Joe quotes are great, but this one, Donald Rumsfeld on The Unknown. This is even hard to read. We know there are no knowns. There are things we know. We also know there are known unknowns. That is to say, we know there are things we know we don't know. But there are also unknown unknowns. The ones we don't know, we don't know.
Could you imagine you're a reporter, young junior reporter, you show up to this.
Trying to transcribe that.
Yeah, you show up to this talk from Rumsfeld. He decided to get a little stoned before.
You're like, I don't remember taking acid, but clearly I did.
And he starts talking, and you're like, what was in that weed, man? What was in that weed? You know what
freedom.
I mean? Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
It was a lot. Here's a classic. I think most people remember this one. So we got three Joe quotes in a row. I mean, you get the first mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean and a nice looking guy. I mean, it's a storybook, man. That's Joe Biden.
Oh, yeah, that's the same guy.
That's a thing to say.
Well, listen, it's funny because he's obviously got. I think we all know that the man had the Alzheimer's pretty
this was before. I mean, this was like when he still was able to do the comb over and it wasn't gray. But this was before the Obama was elected. I'm pretty sure, right?
Well, in the I don't know. I think
this was Joe Biden, then Senator Barack Obama when he was first running for president. That was a supportive statement for his buddy.
Well, and so it's funny because he's also the same guy that said he didn't want his children growing up in a racial jungle.
Yeah, well, he's also the same guy that said you cannot go to a 7-Eleven or Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
Man's obviously never been to California.
I don't know what would ever inspire you to say some bullshit like this. Okay, the last one on Joe. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Now, I know there's people that are watching saying, no, he corrected himself afterward. He did correct himself. And he said, wealthy kids, black kids, Asian kids. No, I really mean it. But I think how we think about it. Glad he clarified.
Great save, dude.
That helps a lot.
Perfect save.
Remember Larry Craig? Larry Craig. Okay. Yeah. He was arrested for soliciting gay sex in airport restrooms.
Oh, United States Senator.
Yeah, and he has a quote here. When the officer was asking him why he was playing footsie in said restrooms, he said, and I quote, "I have a wide stance." Look at that, bro.
That's perfect.
I mean, say
that's good. That's perfect. Great comeback.
Look, I'm not doing that in an airport, but if it did, it's probably the best answer I could.
Got a wide stance, dude. No, gotta let the nuts breathe. Hand's been on all day long.
Back to the nuts. Yeah, that one gets me. Ted Kennedy on his nickname. I feel like this is kind of Josh vibes. Ted Kennedy, and I quote, There's not even context listed here. They don't call me Tyrannosaurus Sex for nothing.
Wait, who was that?
Ted Kennedy.
Holy shit. Well, that makes sense. That's if anybody's going to say it, it's going to be a Kennedy.
It's going to be a Kennedy. I know, right? What was it? Clone High, that cartoon that had like, why was the cartoon like, I was convinced that was absolutely JFK. Remember when he was like, you know my motto, and he pulled up his shirt and it said fat chicks with a circle and a square and the little cross out around it.
Yes.
It felt on brand. Okay, we're almost done. Richard Nixon on burning the White House tapes. I was under medication when I made the decision to burn the tapes.
Solid excuse.
These are your new, buddies. Ted Stevens in the interest. The internet is a series of tubes. The internet is not something you just dump something on. It's not a truck. It's a series of tubes. And if you don't understand those tubes can be filled. And if they are filled, when you put your message in, it gets in.
Oh boy.
It gets in line and it's going to be delayed.
Yeah, you can delay that internet.
By anyone that puts into that tube enormous amounts of material. So that was
you're laughing, but I know that one actually hurts. I know that one actually is painful for you to read.
Yeah, well, this is why the arguments about net neutrality are not even close to what's really happening.
We're still talking about we were talking about net neutrality like 8 years ago, dude.
I got exhausted. I stopped talking about net neutrality because no one was talking about it the right way. Okay, Hank Johnson. We got two more. Hank Johnson on Guam. My fear is that the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize. I think he still holds office, by the way. He's a Democrat from Georgia. Expressing concern during a congressional hearing that the presence of a large number of American soldiers might upend the island of Guam and tip it over into the ocean. And last, but most certainly not least, George W. Bush on OBGYNs in 2004. Too many good docs are getting out of the business. Too many OBGYNs aren't able to practice their love with women across this country.
How are you going to practice your love with women?
So those are again, for those in opposition, right? Those are the lines that apparently Josh is fine crossing.
Yeah.
Gotta mix it up.
Gotta mix it up with these fine people. Well, no, I just, look, I'm tired of feeling the person in the room, so I figured into politics. Or I get to be one of the smarter ones. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at.
The record reflects you're not completely wrong there.
It's true. I've even, and I talk about this. Obviously, I'm a veteran of politics now. When we were doing Think Liberty, I was just such a baby. Like, I'm gonna meet all cool people and all gonna be like influential, and then I start meeting people like even in my own party. I'm like, wow, you're fucking retarded, and you are a horrible person, and you're cheating on your wife, and you're beating children, and it was like holy shit, dude. That like 98% of the people that I've met through politics.
Listen, which we've learned on this podcast isn't that bad. That's the worst part. What we've gone over thus far, and this is just shit from last year, and then some quotes, right? I mean, and the quotes were I really scaled it back. I mean, we could have gone deeper, but like,
we could have done quotes all night.
If we've learned anything in this, you really got to do a lot to end up not getting in office.
These people are a majority very bad people, and probably one of the reasons that they actually got into politics was they wanted to be very bad people, and the only way to circumvent the consequences was to get into politics. Really, is
what was it? Like. I think it's. I don't want to give credit where it's due. I think it's Adam Carolla. There's a metaphor that I think is appropriate here, where he says he looks at politics or politicians a lot the same way, and I think Michael Mouse might have said it like way simpler, which is like the kind of people that want power, the last people that should have it, but. Carolla put it in an interesting way that makes it easier to understand. It's like you're camping, right? And you're somewhere, you have a group of adults and you have a group of kids, And the adults want to go do something the kids can't go. And so you go kind of go to your group of adults and you say, all right, we're going to go for a trip. Someone's got to stay and watch the kids. Who wants to watch the kids? The first guy that raises his hand is immediately fucking out. Right? Like,
yeah. Yes. Exactly. True. Oh, you want to watch the kids? Leave.
Fucking get. I don't even know why we invited you. Right? Like if you raise your hand for, you want the guy in office, right? That like it wants nothing less than to, like, you know what I mean? Like he has no desire that's who you got to go with.
Yeah. And unfortunately, even that guy's got to spend, depending on what office he's, several million to get that office, which sucks. I mean, if you really think about it, like,
well, if you can promise Pfizer that you'll keep their IP in place and they can upcharge the shit out of everybody.
That's true. That is true.
They'll pay for you.
And it's funny because I've clear that I won't take money from foreign lobbyists, and not like they were going to come knocking anyways. I mean, I have like hundreds of hours of but so it's not like they were going to come knocking anyway.
And stop Woody Johnson from signing Aaron Rodgers. I mean,
look, football.
Well, I'm just saying, like he's like a pharmacy guy, and my point being, I don't think that consistent standards are in the.
No, there isn't. There definitely isn't.
Yeah, I don't think they matter.
It's not about that. But anyways, we are getting to the end of this thing. We're at an hour.
Real quick. We got to learn.
So let's spin the wheel.
Yep. Spin the wheel. What is this?
Weird Italian shit. It really likes that.
No. We already did that. It is a good topic. We can skip this if you want it. So we just did. It's the spicy version of the wait what. So I'll just be upfront with you. I was just going to read Kanye tweets from the last 24 hours. It's up to you though if you want to get into
the Kanye tweets. The fiasco over the last 24 hours has been pretty fun to watch. Let's read them. Let's go.
Okay. So we're not going to go over all of them. Obviously, I am wholly unqualified to use some of this language, but some of it is pretty good.
You're Italian. I think you're qualified to be.
The Jews wrote Martin Luther King's speech, Happy Black History Month.
Yeah, that one. That was the start of it, wasn't it? Wasn't that the start of the
I think that was
viral?
Yeah, that might have been. Good morning, retards.
Yes, that was my type of tweet.
The best thing is that was tweeted like he lives out here on the West Coast, right? So what was that? Like 2:33 o'clock
in the morning or in the afternoon?
In the afternoon.
Oh yeah, he was sleeping late. He had a rough night.
I love gay people. All my gay friends know that, but y'all finna take the word F slur from me. And then laughing emoji.
He's taking it back.
He is taking it back. This is fun. So some of these, like I'm trying to make sense of it. Why do comrades, colleagues, and competition all start with the same letters? Remember that tweet from Trump that was like, "Thank you, Kanye, very cool."
Yes.
Right? Some of these feel like that, okay, right? Like,
yeah.
George Farmer, I did not fuck your wife. Rest easy. Jared Kushner, on the other hand, and I'm not sure if this means that Jared Kushner fucked his wife or that Kanye fucked Jared Kushner.
Or Jared Kushner's wife.
Sure. Also, I brought back the word hunky. You're welcome. Okay.
I'm pretty sure AB did that already.
He might have. What's crazy that only one of them has CTE. This is insane. If you read, I'd rather be a colonizer than be colonized. Soak that one in. David Strongbird played bully for Trav without me knowing, but I at least got him to cut that Jew fro. He did this scam with that merch Jew Charles Mangan.
Dude.
Someone needs to start a company called Merch Jew. To collect me and the other slave rappers' emails without knowing, to raise the value of Charles Mangan's property. Without, I would assume David has a piece of, but none of his clients do. Trav, unfollow that laugh emoji. You N-word is dumb and broke Ain't no unity, spelt K-N-O-W. I don't blame you. I'm out for myself. Only difference is I'm God.
Slave rappers. I like that one. That's a good one. I'm gonna hold on.
We're almost done. Here. Yeezy does not hire fat or ugly people, and then he has a screenshot of Ozempic. I've wanted to make this shirt for years. My greatest performance art piece thus far. I don't know if you can see my camera, but it's a swastika on a white t-shirt, which is a little different. Here's my favorite. Here's my favorite. It's in caps, so I'll shout it. When Vice President Kamala Harris, Vice President who didn't want to fuck the Vice President Kamala, it's like she had a hit record out. But now that she's out of office, no one wants to fuck anymore. It's like she got dropped from her label. That's the tweet. So, and this is another good one. That's
definitely going to be a short on YouTube later. Oh, that right?
That's fine. This is another good one, and it's all quote. Should I yell it again so you can use it as another clip?
If it's all caps, you got to. I mean,
it's all caps. This is my favorite because in the first half you think he's going somewhere, and then I don't want to spoil it. Man, Rich from Fashion Eva, he always given advice and tried to. He cares about me and wanted to see how I was doing. As two alpha maverick, ego, maniac, know-it-alls, we never business. This man changed the game of fashion as we know it. While ripping Yeezy off, though, he stole my designs. I had to remind myself to not like him. Go to Yeezy.com. That took a turn. And then the last one that I saved was, and this, I'm saying it this way, it's not in quotes, I'm using my money to start schools now. So that's...
Hey, well,
that's that.
Nibba's in Paris, right?
Yeah, we have some time, so let's just... Here. Lady You Hate. You know what that's about. There's that... I didn't know a lot about it, so you got...
Joni Ernst.
There you go. Get on it.
Oh, so, yeah, well, I'm running against her.
Okay.
Everybody probably knows that. I am the only filed Republican challenger in the Republican primary for 2026 for U.S. Senate against the old Iowa pig farmer that said she was going to go to D.C. 9 years ago and make D.C. squeal. Instead, she's been rolling around the slot for the last 9 years. And she has been anti-Trump, anti-Jan 6, protesters getting freed, pretty much the whole Trump agenda until Trump won. And now she's the number one cheerleader for Doge, all about Trump's agenda. And,
I was confused because you were telling me you don't like her. And then I went and
just a year
some
ago,
Google, and I'm like, it looks like she's like a team player.
No, yet just a year ago, this finger in the air, way of the wind politician was saying that she refused to not call the January 6th protesters sitting in jail terrorists, and that she didn't believe they should be released. And that was kind of the downfall for her. Iowa people started hating her for that. Or she famously was bullied into confirming Pete Hegseth just recently. But she was definitely against that at first until she realized that her seat was a re-election here in just less than 2 filed challenger that had already been going around county Republican meetings and building hate for her. Anyways, and so I can't stand this woman. She's the fakest bitch in the Senate. I know, and you guys leading Heartland. And you get like leftist progressive rag mags in Iowa that are always trying to write hit pieces on me. Go ahead, cut that, put it out. I mean it. She's worthless. Basically, will say whatever she needs to get reelected. She's never been part of MAGA. She's never cared about the MAGA movement. And in fact, she's stood against it on many, many, many occasions, and also has never seen a foreign spending bill that she didn't salivate about. She is her biggest donors are NORPAC, which is an Israeli
omnibus bill. Let me spit on it.
Yeah, her biggest donors to her campaigns are NORPAC, which is the Israeli alliance PAC, and her second biggest one is Raytheon. So Trust me when I say that this woman will keep us at war forever if it was up to her, because her friends are getting paid. So I can't stand her. I hate her. I'm obviously running against her because I'm a taller working class American, tired of my. That's where I'm at on Joni Ernst. I hate Joni Ernst. Miss went into Congress or went into the Senate with a negative $200,000 net worth, and now she's worth over $20 million. You know,
seems to happen a lot in the government.
Yeah,
Good luck
it
with that.
does.
Good
it does
luck.
happen a lot in the Senate.
Maybe so there's two more. Wait, go. Sorry, I stepped on you. Well, I wanted to make sure we got to cover. So on the wheel, I think we're done with the wheel. There's only two more topics. I think we might not even get to the second one, but whatever. So on the wheel, it's the slice is cocaine and hookers. Let's talk about Ross.
Yeah, let's talk about Ross Ulbricht. So my first show, very first episode, video episode, because if you guys remember back in the day, I did do 2 or 3 audio episodes and then one more audio episode where I did an interview with my good friend Buck, other Raiders fan, Buck Johnson.
Yep, sounds like a good dude.
Yeah, Counterflow podcast. Anyway, so I love Buck. Very first episode I did back in 2021. The video episode, I did a whole segment on Ross. I've been a advocate of freeing Ross ever since I heard about Ross's case. Was in prison for 2 life sentences plus 80 years or 50 years.
Tell him why.
For creating an e-commerce website that circumvented the grasp of the federal government. That's essentially what it was.
On the dark web.
Yeah, on the dark web. Now people will call him a drug dealer, somebody who tried to solicit murder for hire. They say all these things about him.
But he didn't do
he was never charged.
He
was never even charged with them. That's the crazy part, is that the federal court system and DA, federal defense for the federal government, actually dragged him through the media as a solicitor for murder for hire and never even charged him in court with that. And so his actual crimes were creating a marketplace the federal government would not access. Essentially what it was. And so when Donald Trump showed up to the national convention here, you're all fucking losers, and you're going to be losers if you don't vote for me. I also said, and I'm gonna free Ross on day 1. Okay, guys, you dumb fucking libertarians, you've always wanted Ross free. We're gonna get him free. And everybody was like, yeah, right. He's not gonna do that.
But that's what gets him. But like that kind of stuff, though, is what gets him a lot of relief from some of the other stuff he does.
That day 1, and I think the troll was he released, he pardoned full unconditional pardon for Ross Ulbricht on.
He said it was day 1. Didn't someone lose money? I was looking on the on Facebook.
I think that was the troll. I think
Tom Woods. Tom would lose money
too. But he did the first day. He gave a full and unconditional pardon to all the January 6th protests, which I would have done if I had been president too. And so he's done a lot of really good things, dude. And it was like one thing after another. I'm like, yeah, dude, we're fucking cooking right now. And then he's like,
Gaza,
we're gonna take the Gaza Strip, and I'm like, oh fuck, dude, seriously, of all the things you're doing so good, Trump. What are you doing? Stay out of the Middle East, bro. Where it's not our thing.
He can't, bro. He can't.
I know.
He can't. He saw that rap video with Tom McDonald and Ben Shapiro, and he was like, "This is it.
we gotta save Ben Shapiro." No, we were cooking, man. We were really cooking. It was the best shit. Like I said, we have a president that's talking about ending taxes on overtime, ending the federal income tax, ending tax on tips, letting now they're talking about letting.
He was talking about federal income tax. He was talking about ending the federal income tax, not just. I mean, he's like, dude, kill it all, burn it down.
Yeah, well, and they're talking about actually having Ron Paul head up a committee to audit the Federal Reserve. Like, we're cooking here, bro. Okay,
that's a lot of those big hands counting small bills, my friend.
It was actually pretty funny in the chat, and I seen a meet this talking about billing. Globes. Ed,
I can only see some of what you're
He says,
writing.
he says, I'm a hardcore ANCAP. I'm fucking thrilled with what's going on. No president has ever had a smoke show 43-year-old daughter posting camel toe thirst traps on social media.
Again, technically correct.
Technically correct. Yes, exactly. You're doom pilling right now, dude. We got this is the best we've ever done. If you're not going to say that with all these things that are coming out that we absolutely have the most libertarian president we've ever had in our entire lifetimes, then you're only here to be an argument. That's all you care about, because it's anyways. How you doing, Vinny?
Okay, so and the next
Marshall.
Yeah, the next thing was the election. I think we kind of covered some of it. I will say really quickly, Trump is so good at getting people in the mud, man. Whatever anyone thinks of him, like I got to give him his flowers for, like, do you remember the Trump's first trip? Bannon talked about flood the zone with shit, is what he said.
Don't remember.
You remember that? So his whole thing, right, is just overwhelm people. And like, what I'm witnessing is some of the most like intelligent, strategic crap I've ever seen. And I'm not putting a value judgment on it, right? But it is kind of brilliant in the realm of politics. Trump gets out there on Inauguration Day and he's like, I'm going to make an executive order, 2 genders, we're getting rid of plastic straws, right? And people lose their minds, along with like 200 other things. And
don't forget the Gulf of America, bro.
The Gulf of America.
We're going to take Greenland and Canada.
But he knows what he's doing, right? Like, people need to understand, if you're going to beat Trump, you got to get out of the mud, because if you get in the mud, he's going to win. But he knows what he's doing. He's flooding the zone with shit. And he started with shit that he knows is going to tip you over and piss you off. And then he's got, what was it, first like 200 things, right? And everyone's so busy focusing on the plastic straws and the genders and like the sports stuff. And he's like plowing through these other things. Someone's going to write a thesis paper about this someday, and it's going to be illuminating. But I think Bannon strategy has a lot to do with it. Trump being fearless in his second term has a lot to do with it. And I hope the Democrats learn to try to do better than Hillary 2.0. Next year, because
they won't.
Jesus.
It'll be the same. And then that's what the party is now, is Hillary 2.0. The whole party. I mean, that's really everything they've got. I mean, there was some, I can't remember who it was. There's some talk about how initially they wanted Josh Shapiro to be the vice presidential candidate, and there was like a backroom conversation between Kamala and a few other Democrats where they were like, there's no possible way we can run a Jewish vice president during this October 7th Gaza thing. And I just thought, like, wow, the party of tolerance and anti-bigotry can't run a Jewish vice president, right? And picked Tim fucking Waltz. Of all the people, Tim Waltz, this absolute, like, unimpressive man from Minnesota, who I still don't understand how he became a governor there. If you've never been, now I live just south of Minnesota, right? It takes me 2 hours to get to Minnesota. It takes me about 3.5 to 4 hours to get to Minneapolis. This is the Great White North. It is, you have to be tough on a whole nother level to just deal with the weather here. Okay. And the state of Minnesota, where they get -30 on average through the winter. And we're like junior Minnesota here. We're like -20. You're these tough, like, ice fishing, like axe wielding, like hunting Americans in the heartland, and you voted in eyebrows to be your governor, to lead your state. Like, what's wrong with you? Please. I've said it on the show.
Everything was underwhelming, right? Didn't Kamala go on The View? Like, I'm not going to put money on the fact this is exactly what, but didn't she essentially go on The View, and like someone asked her what are you going to do differently than what was just done? And she was like, we're just going to do everything the same. You know, the entire country is like livid.
Yeah.
With the way things have been going, especially economically, and your big message on a giant stage for like crazy biddies who have no grasp of logic and reason. You said the last thing, like they would have basically bought into anything you said except I'm not going to do anything other than what we're doing right now.
Exactly. Well, and I just need to say it. I've said it a million times on the show. I'll say it again. Minnesota and Illinois, if you guys could please stop embarrassing the rest of us in the Midwest, we'd really appreciate it. We really would.
Illinois is a rough place.
Midwest is the best, man. I after moving here in 2020, it's too cold for the coastal elite to come here. Far too cold. And I can walk into a store, walk out with a gun. We have healthcare freedom. We have school choice. We have all the great things. It's kind of like our own little like frozen utopia when it comes to some of these like ideals of freedom. And it's too cold for the people to come here and try and fuck it up. Except that you Illinois and Minnesota people are somehow churning out dumb fucks at a higher rate than most of the country. And if you could please stop doing that, we'd really appreciate it. Vinny from Illinois originally.
Not originally.
Well,
I spent a lot of time there.
Yeah, you grew up same place I did. And also a place that churns out dumb fucks at an alarming rate. California.
Yeah. Prolific.
Prolific rate. Yeah, like a New York rate.
That's right. All right. Well, hey,
Vinny,
look, I'm sorry. I love you, man. I'm sorry. Like, it's in my nature. I don't know. People that watch this, I had my own podcast where I think I kind of started hosting there for a minute. My apologies. I had a lot of fun.
You should have another podcast, dude. You should start the podcast back up, Mike.
Maybe I'll just join yours sometimes.
Yeah,
and
you
we
got
can
a nice.
hang out.
You come on anytime, buddy. Love you to death. So, why don't you tell people where they can follow you, support you, listen to you, all that good stuff, my man.
Fucking send a letter. Like, I'm not doing anything.
You can catch me on my porch Mondays and Thursdays, sweeping.
Yeah, Vinny Marshall. You can find me on Facebook. You can friend me if you want to watch me
what
make
is it on
jokes.
Twitter?
I'm not really doing all this shit.
V_Marshall84.
V_Marshall82 or V_Marshall_82. I don't know. I talk about the Raiders a lot. They're my favorite football team.
Yeah, he's a big Raiders fan. Just about as sad as me as a Dallas fan. We both share in our love for the least fascinating baseball team in the country, the Oakland A's.
Come out here. It's by my house now. Come out and we will. They're playing out here for a while until they move to.
Where did you move to?
I mean, I'm not gonna. North, further away from the Bay Area, but like the A's are playing in Sacramento. It's not very far from where I'm at.
Oh,
now.
Okay, cool. I didn't know that. So they're not playing at the Coliseum at all anymore?
No, they're done. So this season they're playing out here. They took the River Cat Stadium and they're investing a bunch into it. So if we want to watch a bad baseball team, you can get it at a discount because they're halfway into their migration. But come out, we'll watch it. We'll watch game.
One of the most hurtful to my heart sports things that has ever happened in my life. I grew up at the Coliseum. I love the Coliseum. I don't live there anymore, so it's not as big of a deal. But it does sting because that was we used to just take the BART right there on Wednesdays when I was a kid, and they had dollar days. Remember that? Do you remember dollar days at the Coliseum?
I do. Look at this. Listen, this is almost as painful as watching your best buddy who shares so many interests as you do in so many places that are sentimental and important. Root for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So
my whole life.
Yeah, I understand.
Hey,
I understand.
You know what? It's not like you of all people know that I am no fair weather fan of my Cowboys.
No, look, you picked a shitty team and you really hitched your wagon to it. So kudos to you for that.
I never give up, dude. You know,
they were in my backyard. I have a valid excuse. I think you do too, but it's just a little more rough.
Yeah, but it was tough. It was tough growing up in the Oakland and San Francisco Bay Area as a Cowboys fan. There's no doubt. I had to be. But anyways, I was going to say something. Oh yeah, that's when people are like, "Oh, you're just going to quit. You're going to quit this politics thing, and we're going to beat you to death." And da 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 da. And I'm like, bro, I'm a Dallas Cowboys, San Jose Sharks fan. If the decades,
Golden State Warriors, it wasn't only Steph Curry and Draymond Green.
I waited 30 years to see the Golden State Warriors win a fucking national championship. Do you understand?
That's
right. Cannot break a man who likes sports teams. Impossible.
That's right. Right.
John, I love Vin Marshall.
Whatever. We went over it. Yeah.
I love you to death, dude.
Yeah.
The Salmon King. Thanks. We'll just call you the Salmon King from now.
King Salmon. Yeah, that was a big fun typo. All right. Thank you, man. Take it easy. Have a good night. Don't look at people in bathrooms. Love you, man.
See ya. All right, guys. Another episode in the books. If you're not following V_Marshall82 Twitter, you should do that. Help him grow his platform. The guy's a man. He's my best friend as long as I can remember. And that's probably, with my brain injury endured my entire life, probably the truth. Vinny rules, dude. Just go follow the guy. He starts doing his podcast again when we get him back up and running. Friends. Anyways, I love you guys to death. Thanks for coming back, man. It's been a long time since we've done a show. I think it was July. I really do think we moved to the new house in the country in August. I haven't done a show since we finally got the studio built. We're going to start doing shows regularly again. Ryan and AJ will be back when their spot will be that way in the new studio. This is a much smaller studio, so we don't have the echoing problems, which the last studio was humongous and crazy echo problems. This is a lot smaller, more quaint. Hopefully no echo problems. I did see someone saying something about my audio cutting in and out again. I don't know why the fuck it does that. There's nothing wrong. I have like a really good audio interface and like good filters, but maybe I'm just fucking up the noise gate or something. If anybody knows how to set audio filters in a way that's like conducive to podcasting, especially for a guy with like a big voice that yells a lot, please hit me up. Let me know. Oh yes, with or without the in and out audio, which happens yeah, I don't know what's going on. Dude, this is like the highest end podcasting mic I can get. Got a very, very high end audio interface rack mounted down here. I got OBS filters on. I probably am fucking up the noise gate. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. I'm either fucking up the compression or the noise gate or the limiter, probably is what's happening. And you guys know those settings. If you guys know anything about audio, hit me up. Fix that. I'd love to fix that. I'm hoping to do a show Tuesday or Thursday next week. We are probably going to keep a weekend show. It's going to be a lot easier. I love you, Mom. I love you very much, Mom. Thanks for coming to my first show back. We will see you guys either Tuesday, Thursday, or next Saturday with an all new guest, and hopefully Ryan and AJ will be back. But until then, I love you very much. Don't forget to
Due to legal reasons, I just have to explain. The lyrics of my last song may seem to contain a violent call to action in the verse and refrain, but I just meant it in Minecraft. The helicopter part was in reference to GTA 5 and the things you do. So any violence you commit, I am not an excuse, because I just meant it in Minecraft. Well, Chipper is my friend and he's constantly cold. Accusations of incitement getting totally old. Make your own choices, yeah, you have control, because I just meant it in Minecraft. Obviously I would never advocate force, unless there's due process and a trial, of course. And if you're convicted, we will make you a corpse in Minecraft, just in Minecraft. You're nothing I mean, you know it. No product finished, cause it close.